In this video I'm going to show you guys how to install and configure a Minecraft 1.14.4 Spigot server with plugins. And in particular we're going to be going over how you can actually install and get WorldEdit for Minecraft 1.14.4 along the process. So if you're new to the channel, we do a lot of time lapses and tutorials, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the description of this video and you're going to get up the first link, and this is going to be to getbucket.org, download Spigot. We're going to go on to Spigot 1.14.4 and click on download. And then it's going to say you're about to download, and you get this thing here. You click on that and that will start the download process. You can see I've already downloaded it, that's why it's got the 1 in there. Of course, guys, make sure that you do have Java installed. I am absolutely sure if you are actually using the Minecraft Java edition, you already have Spigot installed. Java installed. You already have Java installed. If you don't, I'm going to give you guys a link directly to the Java downloads page. And if you're on Windows, for example, you'll be going to this Windows Online one. You can then install that. They've also got the 64-bit as well. And yeah. Go on to that. If you're not too sure which version you need to use, you can actually go on to and open up. Let's just open up, for example, File Explorer, and you can actually, if we grab this down here, go on to this PC, right click in here, go on to Properties, and then what you'll do is you'll get the system type, and I've got a 64-bit, but you'll actually have it in there, so that's how you would actually get to it. But yeah, make sure you do have it installed. What you'll get, especially if you're using something like Google Chrome, is you'll get the error or message. I guess it's more of a message. This type of file can harm your computer. Do you want to keep Spigot 1.14.4 .jar anyway? I'm going to click on keep. So this will happen whenever you download usually with a .jar file or a .exe file. Just make sure you're always going on kind of like verified links. Getbucket.org has been around for ages, like so long, and also, you know, only use the links that I provide because they are safe. Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do anyway, I have a folder just on my D drive, so you know, you can create a folder wherever you want. I just like to keep mine on my D drive and separate from my main operating system in case the server went crazy and took up a load of space. It doesn't get onto my OS. It's because I'm actually work in IT, so my mind is always like that. You don't have to do it. But yeah, just create a folder. I call it Minecraft local server. You don't have to call it that. You can call it Bob, Jeff, whatever you want. And then in here you can see that I've got subfolders for different versions of my Minecraft servers. So each of these are servers. So I'm going to just create a new folder in here called, you guessed it, 1.14.4, because that's what we're doing. And it makes it a lot easier. So we've got a nice blank folder here. What we're going to do is we're going to go onto this downloads. We're going to go on show and folder, and we're going to drag this into that folder like that. So we've got it in here. I'm also going to rename it so it looks like what you guys are going to have it looking like, which will be exactly that. So the next kind of thing, it should be recognized as a Java program. So, you know, when you hover over it, you saw it gets that type executable jar file. If it doesn't, then you need to, well, and you have got Java installed, that's the first thing to check. If you have got that, there is a program that you can run called Jarfix, and Jarfix will, as it sounds, fix things. A lot of people do have it where it will look something like this. Let me just get this prepared. Do not follow the instructions right now, but you have it where something like WinRAR is there, and every time you open it, you double click on it, and then it opens up as a zip file. Jar files, by the way, guys, are basically zip files. It's just a same kind of format, so you get all these different folders within there, which is how it's all built. So it's very, very interesting. But at least you'll have that there. But you know, then you can't really run it the same way. If you want to double click on it, you don't have to do that though. So yeah, you can go on to Jarfix, and what you're looking for down here is the Jarfix program, and you can just click on that. That will download it, and then you can run it. So if we go on to this, then you'll get a message that comes up that looks something like this: the jar suffix blah 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 has been registered successfully. So that's it, making sure that Java actually uses it. Also, yeah, the runtime environment for mine is actually pointing at my C drive Java, and it's Java 7 that mine's pointing at. It's something because I've got multiple versions of Java on my PC, so there's certain things that actually this won't fix because of that reason. It usually works with just one. You can run it under command line to get it to do that if you wanted to. So yeah, be aware of that. You know, you can do it, but most people, like 95% of people, maybe even 98%, will just need to run that and have it if that's your problem. If it's not, you're absolutely fine. But you'll notice mine hasn't been recognized as it anyway because of, again, me having... Oh no, it has actually. It has. It's just not looking like it. That's really bizarre. If I refresh... It's very, very bizarre actually, because it's basically done what it should be doing, but it doesn't seem to be showing it. Anyway, what we usually do is we do double click it from now, and you might get an error. So again, jarfix should fix all those errors because I've actually got my environmental variable pointing to another version of Java, which I've broken on purpose for these kind of things, these tutorials. You'll get something like that, and you might get Java exception has occurred, and there's another one as well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it or not. Let's see if I can, because I can usually switch it between different binaries and get it to do it. There you go. Or you might get it flashing up and disappearing. So those are two things. Doesn't really matter what's going on if you've got Java installed, because the next step that we're going to be doing actually is a workaround for that, and it just kind of happens and it just kind of works. So if you right click in this space here and we go to new, we can then go to text document. Don't worry about calling it anything. Mine's recognized as Notepad++, that's why we've got the nice chameleon thing. I'm actually going to open it with just normal Notepad because almost everybody just uses normal Notepad. Then again, in the description there is going to be a link to, well, not really a link, there's going to be some text in there, and I'll explain what this text actually does. So we've got Java, and we've got this kind of like different settings here. Basically what this does is it runs it with Java. We've got different RAM settings, and we've also got the file, and we've got output to be true. I'll go through those in just a second. For now, what we'll do is we'll go to File, Save As, and we want to go on to Save As Type. Really super important, remember this bit. All files, okay? Make sure it's all files, and then what we do is we call it Start.bat. So what all files does is it means we put our own extension on. We're going to be doing it as a .bat file. That's a .batch file, okay? I just do save, and then we can close that. So what we got is we can delete that. Now, on purpose, I've not changed my text. What you guys might have noticed, if you've got a very keen eye, is that, for some reason I can't edit that. There we go, there it is. What you might notice is mine's pointing to a Spigot 1.40.2, and guess what, we're doing 1.40.4. Okay, so mine's going to error, and this is why I'm going to explain everything that's going on. So this first bit of a command, that's the command line. It says execute with using the Java program. This is set within your environment variables. More than likely you will not need to have a look at this, but I'll just show you guys anyway. You'll have environment variables, and you'll have this thing called Java home. So in my case, when I do Java, it will then point it to this as a command. This is why it will work and why I get that error, because I've got the registry that jarfix actually did is it pointed it to Java 7, which I've broken on purpose. But actually in these variables here, if I do a command line, it will actually run it as Java 8. So that's the reason I've got that and how I've configured it for these tutorials. So that's where you actually get it. So that'll be run the Java program within that folder. And actually, again, if you go back onto this, I'm just going to edit that to copy it. Again, you don't need to do any of this. It's just a load of stuff in case people were interested in how it all works. If I go to File Explorer and I open up this folder, in this bin folder, when you type in Java on here, it runs wherever it is, Java. There it is, java.exe. So run java.exe, and then this has arguments. So arguments, they're just settings, they're things that you want it to do. I'm going to close this so it's less white in the background. There's a lot of white in the background. There we go. So yeah, that's what you do. That's how that works if you wanted to know. And you can of course change that if you've got multiple Java installations as well. The first bit is the minimum amount of RAM that you're going to be applying to it. So yeah, dash Xms512M, so 512 megs of RAM. Next bit is Xmx1G, so that's the maximum amount of RAM. It's going to be 1 gig. Then you get dash jar, and then this is the name of the Java file, jar file. I'm going to keep mine as that so it errors, so that I can show you guys what happens when it does error. And then we got this dash O, and that's set to true. So that is output. So that's when we want the console log going out. This pause line is really important. If you don't have it, and we're going to remove it. If we don't have it, you then won't really know what's going on when you actually run it. So if we did a run here, see how it flicks up and disappears? Effectively, all the pause line does is it waits until you just press a key before closing it, so you capture all the error. So let's have a look at this. So we run this. Can you see that we get an error? So we get the unable to access jar file, Spigot. So that's where that works. Also, if you get a unrecognized command, those environmental variables that I just showed you, make sure that you do have a Java home so that it knows where to run the Java command, where it's looking for the java.exe file to run all of this in there. But there we go, you can see that. Well, obviously a really easy fix for me to do. I had to name it to 0.4. If you have got spaces in the file name, so again, what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a change. We're going to have, for whatever reason, if it's Spigot space 1.14.4.jar, you need to put double quotes around that, and you need to have space in there like that. So it needs to match exactly the same, but that's the way you get around that. And then if we run this, what you'll see is it starts to actually build a server. Hey, so that's what should actually happen. But at least hopefully that's got through a couple of the common issues that you guys have. If you do have any more, do post them in the comments, okay? Because you know, a lot of people do know how to fix it. A lot of the time, most of the stuff that you can actually get in here as errors, you can just Google, like there's already a server running on that port, etc. and so forth, which will be happening. One thing really, really important to note, which came up a lot in the last couple videos that I've done on this, is a lot of people saying, I've got this error, this build is outdated, what do? I need to fix it. You don't. You just ignore it. Every time there's a new build of Spigot, and you saw that I downloaded it fresh off that website, it's the latest kind of like recommended build or stable build, whatever you want to call it. You know, that is the latest one, and it's saying it's outdated. Every time they do a small little bit of patch, they could change a bit of code, add a comment in, put up a rebuild of that, of Spigot. That will then make this error come up for everybody that hasn't got that version. So totally ignore it. You know, you don't need to worry about it at all. But the next thing it does get, and again with this at pause line, you know, it says failed to load the EULA.text and the server.properties, and yeah, you need to agree to the EULA in order to run the server. Go to EULA.text for more info. I mean, it's pretty much in English, you know. Really good. So we're just going to press the key. Whoa, look, we've got magical files appeared as well. You notice these two were missing, and this was missing, so it creates the folder for them. If we open up the EULA, and you have to do this in order to run it, what you'll get is, go to that website if you want to read about it. I recommend that you guys do, because you are going to be agreeing to something, okay? For me, I'm totally happy with the terms, so I'm just going to switch that to true. Make sure you spell this right. A couple of people had actually put in, you know, spelled true wrong. It's very easy to do when you're typing things in fast, but make sure that equals true is correct, otherwise it won't work. And then just do save on that, close that, and rerun your Start.bat. And then what this should start doing is actually building a server, the proper server. You'll see it'll start in 20 seconds. When you just let that kind of build, it will build a load of other folders as well. While it's doing that, let's talk about some of the settings that are in server.properties. Again, another link in the description, guys. This will take you to the main Minecraft page for server.properties, because it is a Minecraft server. And in here, there's a load of different settings. For example, the difficulty that you want to set. A lot of the most common questions were to do with how do I get a flat world? And you can see this level type, and then you can do it to flat. So you can actually do that. So a flat world with no features can be modified with generator settings, you know. So again, you get this generator settings here when you can start putting things in. So see super flat and customized for possible settings, etc., etc. All of it's in here, and you can change those kind of things. It's really good, actually. This is really good, and it'll explain it a lot better than I can explain it. And of course, as it updates, that will update. What you'll notice in here, anyway, we've got lots of different things that are going on. It's preparing the spawn area. It's creating a new world and everything. And doing a load of other things to do with modifiers and all this kind of stuff which comes with Spigot. It's really, really configurable, and it's also created the world, the default world, which was in that file, which again, if we open this up with Notepad++, will just be world. So if you wanted to call it something else, then you can call it something else. If it doesn't exist, it creates it. If it does exist, it uses it. It's as simple as that. But please be aware that if you are bringing in a new world, make sure that you match the generator settings, because otherwise it'll have or can have some issues. So be aware of that. See that says done. That's good. So what we can do now is we can go into Minecraft. Oh, I don't think I've even got Minecraft running at the minute, which is a bit annoying. That's fine. So what I'll do is, I'm guessing I've just closed it. Yeah, I closed it, or it errored, or did something. And probably when I ran jarfix, it probably errored. But yeah, start up Minecraft 1.14.4. And what we'll do is I'll join you in game to talk you through the next steps. So there we go. Minecraft 1.14 is up and running. We've got the server up and running. We can see that it's done. It's all happy. So how do we actually join to it? Well, we go into multiplayer, and then we can either do direct connect or add server. I'm going to add server Minecraft local server, and we can put in localhost like that. And one thing that I would recommend is doing the port, otherwise it does default to the port you set up. A couple of people had issues whereby when they start it up, it says that the port is already in use. So you can just go into the settings on here. I'm going to use it with Notepad++ because it's a little bit cleaner because I've edited Notepad so it's bigger. But what you actually get is the server port here, 25565. So if you just don't put a port in, that's the default one. But if you do put a port in, you change it and you go, it's in use, okay, that's fine, something else to use, and go to 6, 7, 8, whatever, then you can do that, but keep it as is. You can grab that from the server properties. I'm not going to save it. And you can actually put this in here, and you do colon, and then you have that there. Same as if you got an IP address as well, 10.150.2.7, like a random IP address which will belong to somebody in the world. But there you go, you get that there, and there's how you connect to it. You just do done, and what you'll notice is, oh look, you can connect to it. It's got a maximum of 20 players, that's fine. Let's double click on that, and let's get into the server. There we go, so we're in the server. Look at this, hey, we're all doing server stuff. So what have we got? Well, I've got no permissions type stopping things on there, so I'm actually pretty happy. Got a new world. So how do we actually go about getting plugins into it? And also, just so you can check, guys, in the console, what you actually get is it'll say user authenticator, and it'll have this UUID, unique user ID, of me, LordDaka. Makes a lot of sense. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to opt myself. So you can type in here, you can do op LordDaka, and because that's so small, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in here as well. If you're going to opt yourself in, you need to have at least one op in order to do this. If you try to do it in here, it'll say you don't have the permissions to do it. One thing you'll notice is you've got to put a slash in front of it for doing in-game commands. For console, you do not put the slash in. So same command, no slash, and you can see that, there we go, made me a server operator. And now what will happen, there you go, you can still see the text also changes. If, for example, in-game you wanted to op Bob, there's a player called Bob. Bob is now a server operator on my server. So there we go, Bob is. And you can, of course, then deop as well, or whatever, deop Bob. Just in case there's somebody out there with Bob and sees this video and wants to join my server. Won't have the IP, but Anyway, let's close out of this. Let's go and do some plugin type stuff. So there we go, left the server. If you want to stop the server, you type in the command stop. That safely shuts it down. People will probably ask me, can you just press the X? You can, but this makes sure it does it safely. Make sure everything's saved. Make sure there's no corruption. It's just recommended to do it. And then because we've got the pause line, it'll say press any key to continue. We're just going to do, there we go. So plugins, how do they work? Really easy. Again, go into the description as always, and I'm going to just give you guys a link directly to WorldEdit. It's the one we're going to be doing, and you'll see that WorldEdit has got a 1.14.4 release, so we're going to go with that. It was released apparently 5 days ago. Wow, so we've got a really new version. It's already got 10,000 downloads. It's incredible, really. WorldEdit is brilliant. So we're going to just download that file, and again, you'll get the whole jar. It's going to blow up the world or whatever message. Just ignore that and just do keep. And for your server, you'll have this plugins folder like this, and guess what? That's where your plugins go. So you just copy that right into there, and because I've already downloaded this earlier to make sure everything works, have that there. And that's it. That's how you install a plugin. So you just drop them into this folder. Really super easy. Just make sure you get the version right, and it's the version of Minecraft that's right. I mean, Bucket itself does a really good way of doing this, because you got plus the versions on there. So what ones it'll work with, really good. But from here, all we need to do is we need to rerun the server. It will then pick up everything, and start in 20 seconds. Let it do its thing where it loads everything in. There we go, so it's finally loaded everything in. So what's happened now is it would have loaded up WorldEdit. What you'll also notice in this plugins folder is when things are successfully loaded, most plugins have a configuration folder. They just create a subfolder in whatever folder they're placed in. So in this case, WorldEdit. So you've got some config, and could technically change things around, etc. and so forth. Do all this kind of stuff. It's all in there, right? So it's all pretty good. So if we then go back onto Minecraft and we just join it again, here we go. We'll be in the game, and now what we should do, because we're already opt, we should be able to do --wand. There we go, we got WorldEdit, and if we just select from here to here, and we just do set to 1, let's just stone. There we go, we've got it. So we've now got WorldEdit commands. It's pretty damn cool. So I mean, that's as easy as that. The only thing I need to discuss with you guys now is how you allow people or other people to join your server. So there's two main methods. There's something called port forwarding and port forwarding. So there's two main methods. There's one called port forwarding, and there's another one where you use a program like Hamachi. Port forwarding, essentially what you're doing is you're allowing the internet of things, not really internet of things, the internet itself to actually join your server. So be aware that that's like opening up your port on everything. You have to do that on your router. There's lots of different videos for it, and it's different for every single router that you have, or supplier, should I say. So for the UK, if you're on like BT and you've got BT internet, or you've got Sky internet, they will be slightly different, but they've kind of got the same kind of ways of doing it. So you can just kind of like Google port forwarding with whatever supplier you have, and you can actually go through that. You can open it up. What's the kind of advantage of doing that? Well, you don't have to set up anything else. You can just tell your friends what your IP address is and what the port the server's running on, and then they can join. Okay. What's the bad side of it? Well, anyone else can join unless you implement something like a whitelist on your server, which is always a good idea. And also the other bad thing is that potentially you can get stuff like viruses come through on that port because it's open. You're saying, hey, you can communicate to me on this thing. It's going to be open. It's all open for business type of thing. So you're not really controlling it. You're not securing it on that side. There's another program called Hamachi, or LogMeIn Hamachi. Really, really good. Really recommended. I've used it in the past to let people have access to it. What you have to do is you have to have that installed on both PCs. So your PC as the server and your mates as a client. So, get those done. Get them downloaded. And then what you do is you actually set them up as well. Their user account, and you allow them access to it. So you're specifically saying, my mate Jeff or Bob or Frank or whatever his name is can access this server on this port on my PC when I am also running Hamachi to make sure that that's working. So it's up to you. It gives you that choice of doing that. And of course, if you fall out with, say, Bob, Jeff and Frank are all playing on your server, you then have a falling out with, I don't know, Bob for whatever reason, you can then just disable his access to it as well. Really, really good. Again, there's loads of really good tutorials online for doing that. Totally recommend doing the LogMeIn Hamachi route. And then you can, of course, do it. So, yeah. But anyway, if you are letting people have access to your server, just be aware of if you haven't got unlimited internet, because in terms of downloading, of course, the other people that are playing are going to be sending you as the server data. So like stuff like, hey, I'm hitting this block right now, that kind of stuff. And from your side, you're going to be uploading data to them, and that is like what's going on in the world type of thing, So be aware of those two things. It is pretty small for Minecraft, but, quite simple little warning. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and got yourself a Spigot Minecraft 1.14 server and been able to get WorldEdit as well. Any issues at all, do let me know in the comments section, and if you guys can, please do help out as well, because I get a lot of comments these days, and I can't answer them all, but I will try and answer at least most of them, so it might be answered at least once in the comment section somewhere. So if you know the answer, help me out, and help each other out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.